Surprise. Brother Sheehan is on taking a personal day, and we always got his back. So you had to get your man DOC in here with Mad Max, and what we're going to do is we're going to take you for the next 3 hours. And the Kevin Sheehan Show always is live and free on the Odyssey app, as you well know. This show today is sponsored by Team 980 YouTube page. Just open the app and type in Team 980 and hit subscribe. Kevin Sheehan is live from 10 to 1. Craig Hoffman from 4 to 7. Don't forget to like the stream and turn on notifications to stay up to date on all things DC sports. Max, I have to say to you, my brother, how are you? Are you good?
I'm good, Doc. I'm good. I got the message this morning that you and I are going to be working together. So I it's we're back to weekends, baby. It's just like old times.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to see if I can get a little bit out here, a little bit of that. We used to call it back in the day we called it revive or whatever. And I think I know how to eliminate that. Okay, so that'd be a little bit better. Yeah, man, good to see you too. This YouTube thing is interesting. I always say Nell is he's thrilled.
Oh yeah, he loves getting on camera.
Oh my goodness gracious! Must not have been enough pictures of him as a baby, because this young man loves to see himself, and I'm not mad at him too. I'm not at my boy WWE. You know, it's this time of the year is interesting for a number of reasons, because it's almost like an exhale after you get through with the mini camps and from a football standpoint. But from a baseball standpoint, there's some movement, and you're hoping to have some movement. This deal with Nats picking up sponsorship, I think is very interesting. The obvious question is, what took them so long? And in the meantime, I've reached out to the legendary Tom Lavero, because I'm sure he can answer these questions for it. What took them so long? And why are they? I think they're one of 5 teams that did not have sponsorship on their uniforms, and that's just that's money. I mean, why would you not take advantage of rights? So that is a question that I have and would love to have it answered. We'll have a whole bunch of time to exchange some of these thoughts. Also, on the burgundy and gold front, what I care about during this time of the year is that no one has broken an ankle, stubbed a toe, or had to have surgery.
And fortunately, Noah Brown, I think, is it's not as serious as everyone initially worried about.
That was the worst that happened, and it's not going to be something that lingers.
Yeah.
It's not bad news on that front. Worst thing that happened to you in the offseason is to do anything that stops you from playing against the New York Football Giants, because that's really all I care about, the opener. I want to be able to be at our absolute best, in that category. The Commissioner's Cup and the WNBA, how much were you up on that? Because, this has been going on for a minute.
Yeah.
But I was late to the party.
To be completely honest with you, I didn't know that the WNBA had an in-season tournament just like the NBA did.
They had it way before. As a matter of fact, they were the lead dogs in this.
Yeah, it turns out they beat Adam Silver to it. And the Fever, without Caitlin Clark, end up getting
Amazing.
It done.
What does that say about you? You change coaches. You've got your mega star who is a baller.
They were in the basement not too long ago.
Exactly. And so I think that deserved a Fun Bunch high five. I thought, but I kept thinking, they were the lead dogs, and I'm not certain that everybody knew that up front. Our owner has also, and he's an owner of multiple franchises. He's a player. He's a player. And now he's going to have a WNBA franchise in Philadelphia.
He sure is.
See, I like my owner being as wealthy as possible. I don't need my owner. Some people have objections. I've heard them all say, what? No, dude, we have a coach and a GM. He's not running the football operation. What he's running is getting deep pockets. So I want my owner to be like J-Rock, filthy rich. So roll with it. I mean, I don't have an objection to it. I'm sure we'll feel the call or two. 301-230-0980. And that is your right. That is your right. You can go for it. And I'm sure you will. But what was your thought? Did you have a thought on it?
So the WNBA expansion is really interesting because Sophie Cunningham said something. She's Caitlin Clark's enforcer now, but she said something about like I don't know how excited people are going to be about WNBA in cities like Detroit and Cleveland. Now she didn't mention Philly when she said that, which is I find very interesting because a lot of Philly fans are already mad at Josh Harris about the Sixers, so it'll be interesting to see if they get mad at him over the 76ers.
Wait. How many air balls did he shoot?
Yeah, see, you know what I mean? That's the thing. And like Josh, if you look at the football team, is very like, I'm going to hire somebody that I know is a very smart individual in this realm, a la Adam Peters, Daryl Morey, guys like that. So and he lets them cook. He lets them do their thing. And so for better or worse, the football team, for worse, see the basketball team. It's kind of how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And that's not all 1,000% his fault, but I'm sure if he wasn't so incredibly locked in with us that the Sixers might get a little bit more of his brain space, but nah, screw him. I don't care.
Joel Embiid, he missed his first whole year, damn near missed the whole season. I can give him some advice.
He also paid Embiid, which is a problem, but that's another story.
Embiid's a terrific player when he plays. Much of the same tone that I have for a lot of my NBA brethren. It's like when they play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you play. And first of all, I could give him a little bit of advice. He might want to get on a weight management program, because he always seems to be about 20 pounds overweight.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a correlation between injuries and obesity.
Yeah, body composition.
So figure it out, Slim. Now, when he's there, he's good. He was as good a couple years back as Humpty Dumpty, my man Jokic. And I'm thinking that this dude has multiple skills and he's a big, but there's just a mix there that I'm not comfortable with. But I'm sure Josh has basketball people. They'll handle that. Not a concern. Not a concern to mine. But I thought that it was interesting. But the AARP, and I know that Russ the Rooster is going to have some fun with that.
Oh, I know he already did a little.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. Him and Big L will take light of that. But I push for our teams to win. That's all I really, really care about is that we win. And I want to see that James Wood, I'd like to see Brother Wood be in national colors for more than a minute or two.
For life, I'd prefer. It'd be nice. Because, we don't exactly like to do that around here over the past, 10 years? So it'd be nice to have the superstar that you finally... The Juan Soto you found in the Juan Soto trade. It would be nice to hold on to that guy for a while.
Yeah, and I mean, watching him is interesting. Love him on that West Coast swing. His eye is so good that with two strikes, I wish it wasn't as good. Because I'd love to see him take more cuts. But he's got a great eye, and he's hard for those umps to deal with because of his length.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think he gets some rotten calls.
It's starting to become a thing, and it's become a lot more prominent, I feel like, in MLB, especially this year, with the challenge system, like, tap on the helmet and stuff like that. It's just become a lot. I feel like a lot of those calls are getting called up by the players a lot more, so to try and keep the umps in check, and B, I mean, it's coming, and it's coming fast, because we need something to curb something like that, or calls like this, because it's just a lot of times it's abhorrent. It's like, what what are you possibly seeing out there that warrants that to be a strike? It's a foot outside the plate. Gonna call it. Why would you call that? But I have a lot of beef with MLB umpires, and I probably will forever.
What have you watched more over the last 2 weeks? What has been that number? Because again, we understand right now the timing of it.
Oh yeah,
Seem to be really NBA centric. NBA is like ringing the bell, and rightfully so. There's a changing of the guard, as I see it, as a guy who grew up with purple and gold all over my walls. And the King right now is in a midlife crisis mode because this Miles Turner move to me, to Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
When I was growing up, he would have been in
Crucified
purple and gold. But it's changing the guard that King is not making decisions. He's not controlling everything.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's not being considered in these long-term plans anymore. Like you saw it with Brian and I were talking about this yesterday back here behind the glass, but like the Luka trade, LeBron didn't know about that until 30 minutes before it happened. So he's not calling the shots like he was a couple years ago. So they're not keeping him in the loop or keeping him in mind for long term. So I think they're just waiting it out to see how it ends. So I think this picking up the option for 50 mil or whatever it is that he's making will probably be his little farewell tour. Him and Alex Ovechkin sending themselves off in 2026.
Yeah. And the NBA has definitely taken most of our focus now, and he earned that. But I just looking at Indiana and the move that they made, the progress, it being as close as they've been in 25, 26 years.
Yeah.
And then a piece like Turner, who's a big that can shoot the three and the whole 9 yards. I know they're talking about Lopez. I'd rather have Turner. He has more mobility. He's, both guys are things I like about him, but I think Miles Turner would have been in purple and gold back in the day when they were in charge. Now, I'm glad the ownership change is out there because I call them the Beverly Hillbillies for a reason. It's just ridiculous. And now they have that Dodger blue money coming through. I do expect some changes. Anything over the NBA that has really caught your attention here of late?
I mean, listen, the big story outside of NBA free agency for me is this Malik Beasley saga. I don't know how much you've seen of it.
Well, I mean, Dum Dum 1, Dum Dum 2. I'm like, one thing I think is important is that when they mention feds,
something's wrong.
No, it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not an inquiry. It's a closed book.
Yeah, you're going to jail, my guy.
Yeah. So homeboy must have tried to skirt the system. Here he is getting paid, worked his tail off to be as good as he is. And when you go through that, the athlete does all that work, and then you find instead of being focused on the hardwood, you're focused on a scam or a deal, and eventually now you're not in your level or area of expertise.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens in that? So now he's going to blow it all. Coming off a pivotal year, a springboard year for him. He might have been able to, pivot himself up into something cool. Now he'll end up getting Dum Dum Award of the month or the year or whatever you want to say, because I just don't think his future is bright. And I don't know any other way to say it. But I don't see it as being bright at all. But I do love the action. And we have no other choice right now because this is a time that we're focusing. And then the Wizards are in their move. And we know we can get prospect. Everybody's a prospect. And I just lost my brains over the weekend understanding how we can be trying to do two things at once, improve and lose. Improve and lose. So it's the improve and lose theory that I don't buy into. I don't buy into at all. I understand what they've got to do, but I'm going, the guys in that locker room when they come on the floor and the people that pay for these tickets are expecting more. And I mean, maybe at the midseason mark, maybe I could change my focus. But to me, when the ball's out there going, we're going to win. And I just am so damn confused by how this NBA sells this. They sell tanking while trying to sell tickets. And again, those of you that go into it and buy into it, God bless you, is all I can say. But I am focused. I am going to keep my eyes on it. We have no other choice. How's your tennis game?
Not not as good as it used to be. That's for damn sure. But we have been keeping it on the TVs up here.
Oh, so okay, so that's how you knew what was going on.
Oh yeah, we
Coco Golf. Okay.
Yeah, right. So okay. We've been talking about it. We've been watching it. Coco Golf went out yesterday, which is tough loss for our nation. But he's battling in there. He tied it. He was even in he took the first set, lost the second one, so it was 1-1. And so now it was 3-3 in the set. So last I checked, but I'm not sure how he's doing right now.
How about the soccer? I mean, I watched more soccer over the last 5 days.
Okay, what soccer you been watching? Is it like that the Club World Cup or whatever that's going on?
USA. It was
CONCACAF, the Gold Cup.
CONCACAF. Yeah, man, that was it. You know, it's good. It's a patience thing you have to have. But I found it. I've always felt like it's so physical. It doesn't get mentioned that way. But there's oftentimes more contact in a match than in a game. Some people get hit more in soccer. So it's a visual I have.
Mm-hmm. Francis Tiafoe update, by the way, lost in the second round, which is just tough blows after tough blows for American tennis.
Yes, well, the surface deal. I mean, clay, have you ever walked on a clay course? Have you ever walked on a grass course?
I've walked on grass courts. I've never walked on a clay court. Like it looks a lot. It looks a lot different.
I think the surface has a heck of a lot to do with it. I mean,
absolutely.
We went through AstroTurf and regular.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball plays for most outdoors turf or regular, but grass and sand, I don't know, different. I do think it has to be considered. Like I wouldn't talk no trash about none of it unless I actually was able to walk on it. I probably have a tough time walking on it, let alone the moves you got to make. And tennis would be very, very interesting. But that's what we leave that to, because Sheehan's a hell of a tennis player.
Yeah, I know he's a hell of a golfer too. So
he's a terrific athlete. Matter of fact, I thought he might have been in flight. That's my initial reading when I heard that he was going to take a minute, and I thought, well, he might be going to the event.
Mm-hmm. He might be jetting off somewhere.
That's what I thought, because his arms are long; they reach.
Heading off
to Bermuda. He's got incredible reach. Yeah. He's got incredible reach. So, if you have a sighting on him, well, I'd like to hear about it. 301-230-0980 is our number. Don't be afraid to say that you actually saw the coach, because I know he'll hate this, because he hates the celebrity thing that he is. But I can't. Why would I change now? And we've been doing this for a long, long time. But I am interested as to where you are in your sport. This is sports compass. And it affects people in different ways. Everybody's got something that they're doing. And hopefully it involves some youth activity, the youth sports, because I'm watching great things happen now by so many youngsters. I saw a kid playing in the soccer match, 16, out of Mexico. And I'm thinking at 16 years old, to be in a pro sport playing against grown behind men, to me, I tip my hat. Max, you think at 16 years old you would have had any shot at being a professional in any sport?
No, of course not. I was bad in high school, so there's little to no chance.
On yourself, Mac. Don't be so hard on yourself.
Listen, so we're not even gonna. I wouldn't even entertain the idea of me playing professionally at the age of 16 years old. That would be a miracle of sorts.
Yeah, I always think it is. I worry about it, and I think about if you're being that age, you're traveling in an adult environment, and the pressure on them. And the kids look good, and they quote phenom, especially in soccer. I
Yeah.
mean, soccer. I mean, it's just. I know here we might be a little slower to catch up, but I just think it takes incredible athleticism
Absolutely.
and toughness and endurance. I get tired watching.
Toughness,
And
I'll argue with you on.
there's no other sport that I get tired watching,
Yeah.
feeling for these people.
Well, especially when like they're coming off for a sub, like what, 70 minutes into the game, and like
Yeah.
they're the guy coming out has a completely different jersey on. It's just a much lighter shade because
Yeah.
the guy coming off has already sweat
He's
through his
ripped.
entire uniform.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know how these people train. Just playing the game, I think puts you in that type of position, but every sport has that. And that's why I wonder when we go through these off seasons in the summer, and I love the summer because it does give us a chance to really look at different angles of sport all the way across the board. Even and not discounting our baseball because our priority, but if they're in the hunt, we're in the rebuilding, restructuring, redesigning. We're in that mode. But because we have 2 to 3 hot prospects, now don't pay any attention to the all-star battling or whatever, because we know that if it's based on the public, you got to say to ourselves, we need to have a conversation. Because if it's all a fan-driven process and we don't show up, who do we talk to? Who do we put blame on? You say you love him, but you don't back him.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair or unfair? That's the question I have.
Yeah, I hear you.
How can we be all in and let one of our own appear to be neglected? Especially in our format. We got people calling all the time. I love experts all the time. And of course, I always think of Little. You think Little voted?
That's a good question.
But I'm just saying.
I'm sure he'll tell us.
We got plenty of time, but I'm just thinking to myself, I wonder how many of our, quote, diehards who call up here all the time as experts, love Wood. Well, show it. How'd you show it?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing about I'm the number one fan, but I don't go to games. Or I don't buy gear. I don't have nothing. Oh, how do you show it? How do we know? We get a lot of talk.
It's true.
How can one of your own come up short in a national ballot? You tell me. Because I'm focusing at your people.
Yeah, my
you
age
youngins,
group.
all you technology geniuses.
Well, they're so.
The guy my age,
they're so fickle.
It's writing on stone.
It's just they're like kids my age and all-star voting and things like that.
You social media people? Y'all live with a phone. You constantly texting. You're doing all this stuff. How in the world, since we have a quote phenom, how do we get wiped off the map when it comes to fan participation on the vote?
Because nobody cares, and that's the problem. Is like when the team is middling or bad or in this quote unquote rebuild stage, people just don't show up. People don't pay attention. People just kind of like once they know you're in a rebuild, people check out. People stop.
Now you're saying it, and I'll lead this to method to my madness. Is that when we look at my boy B. Mitch,
mm-hmm.
and we go, we love. Where's the groundswell? Where's the participant? Where do people take over and vote our people in?
It's a good question.
No. What is it? It's an answer. It's an answer. We got a lot of people talk and do nothing. The loudest voice, little action.
Yeah.
So it's a blowhard situation.
Mm.
Blah, blah. I've been hearing a blah, blah, blah. Well, what you going to do? You got a guy, general. We love him. We're not even top 10. Can't get in the voting. So that's my point. I'm like, show or tell. Who are we? Really, when you're talking about looking at a fan base, we know in football, well, the product has been awful for 20 years, 24 years. Now it's taking a turn and they're getting on the good foot. But our home stadiums were invaded by our brothers in the East. They plan on this. They come down and take your place over if they feel like it. Well, what do you say to that? Now, changing, because don't forget, we had to be really good to get our people back. That's disappointing as hell. Or did we say, am I unrealistic in saying, well, hell, they hung in watching garbage for 23, 24 years, lost a whole bunch of people. How would you like to be Cleveland? They stay juiced up. They've been terrible forever and a day. So I hear a lot of talk, but I'm going, when it comes to the action point on it, are we really checking ourselves? And where do we rank as a sports fan, as a sports community? It was embarrassing for me to hear this about Wood. It was embarrassing. If we are who we, quote, say we are. And I can't wait to hear from Little today. I can't wait. He probably won't call now.
He running scared.
He ain't got to be scared. But he's, quote, an expert damn near every topic and everything. And I'm going, how can this happen here? Well, we'll see. We'll see. That's why I love what we do. It's an open format. Don't be scared. Jump in. And because I have questions. And that's why we're doing this the way we're doing it. Because now we're turning the tide. Things are picking up. But this season, man, I can't wait. I don't get really involved in the lingerie stuff. But when they put on shoulder pads and have helmets with pads on, and they're playing and practicing tackle football, I'm all in, man. And I can't wait to see it because I got to get this opening play by the Philadelphia Eagles on the first play of the game. They score. They run the ball down your throat and score. I can't deal with that. Now, our people have done a hell of a job bringing in some beef. I think we're going to be more physical this year, which is a great thing. And I love the emphasis on the O-line. So they're doing all the things, hitting all the check points. I love that. I'm excited about it, but I got to see it. We're going to go to our first break here on the Kevin Sheehan Show, DOC, DHing for the coach. And Max doing his thing as always. Good to see Max, too. This visual thing. YouTube is it's a smooth move. I knew if they got the coach involved, that it had to be. It had to be. I mean, Kevin Sheehan Show on Team 980 and always live and free on the Odyssey app. We'll be right back. Welcome back. DOC, DHing for Coach Sheehan. Ricky, understand, has just jumped in. Wants to play a little ball out in Annapolis. And happy to have you, man. What's on your mind?
Hey, Doc, you don't know how happy I am this morning just to simply hear you on the air, brother. Man,
Yeah,
that was a
it's
shock
good to
for
have
me.
electricity.
I'm out trying to. Didn't have electricity? Okay.
No, I said it's good.
I'll help it.
I need electricity. And once they give it to me, then I'm off to the races.
Brother, it's so good to have you back, man. I want to talk some commander pass rush, or right now what appears to be the lack thereof. Fowler was a bit of a casualty against the run. What are we going to do for a pass rush this year? Is it going to be linebackers firing? But I right now I just don't see that we have the personnel to get the job done on the edges.
Well, first of all, they've addressed it. And again, I don't judge tackle football in pantyhose and shorts. So to me, once I see them in full uniform in a football environment, which is full contact, I think we're going to be different. We're going to be different than a year ago. And that's important because we did not set the edge as well as I think we have to do that. And again, everything goes by if you're healthy. But I think we need some lions. See, here's what training camp means for me. I need to know somebody that came in and maybe took a bus in, maybe hitchhiked here, who wants to be Charles Mann and Dexter Manley. I'm looking for somebody hungry. We fantasize first round, but the hell with, I don't need none of that. We've seen that, and we didn't bust a grape. We was in last place.
You got that right.
More than we've been in first place. We've been in last place. And we had all the number ones. We had all that stuff. Baloney. What I need is somebody coming here with a bad attitude who wants to prove themselves. And to get to the quarterback. Now, we beefed up. We got guys with more size and that, but I'll leave that. That's Big L and let them have all that. What you can't show me nothing in shorts. Not if you can be on the interior. But when we put them pads on, then we'll find out. We got two outstanding tackles. So practice, you get better in practice. You know why Jacoby, to me, should be in the Hall of Fame? Because of what he did every day in practice. Watching him and the prize bull going at it.
Yes, sir.
If you're not having dust-ups in practice, then you're soft. There
it is.
I think are going to be more physical. They addressed it. Now we got to find out if it's real. Paper don't win games. So we'll see what happens.
You're right.
But in the meantime, don't let the propaganda fool you. Let it. Because that's what this time of the year. This is lying time. This is
you're right.
Dream time. I call it bull malarkey. All right. Ain't nobody won no championship in shorts. So
you're right, Doc. And that's a technical term, bull malarkey. I'm going to try to use that at home. I'll probably get myself flat. But anyway, man, it is great to hear your voice, brother. I'm hoping they can find some more slots for you, man.
Oh, I'm good. You know what I mean? It ain't about how many times you own. It's what you do when you own.
Well, when you're on, you're making a difference, and you not being on kind of hurts, man. So I'm just glad to hear your voice this morning, man. God bless you. Hail Commanders.
God bless you, brother.
I still want to say,
man. Yeah.
Take care.
Hail to the Commanders. Hey, man, I'm so tickled to death that we have an opportunity to beat people's behinds week after week after week, and it starts with the Giants, period. And if you don't think the Giants are salivating over trying to get after JD5, then you crazy as a road lizard. We have got to forget about last year. The moment they come to camp and start focusing, like understanding that you are now the target. Nobody even cared about you a year ago. Now they do. And you got a guy you got to protect. And then we got to get people on the other side of the ball to go out and tear up everybody else's structure. And I do believe we're in a good position to do that. Now, what I'm looking for is we got to beat that running back room. We got talent, but I need somebody to go out and grab it. And I think we got it. It's amazing what your last draft pick may end up being the best guy in the room. Could very well happen. Because it's not where you've been, it's where you're going. What you did means nothing. What you're going to do, I'm eager to see. I really am. We got to get more explosive on teams, which I think they addressed it. Young puppy out of Virginia Tech could be the guy. Looks good in shorts. Let's find out when he's full metal jacket.
Well,
and let's find out.
Even when it was like they were in full pads and all that at Virginia Tech, he was getting a lot of play, even with bad quarterback play. And we've talked about this, and Toby and I talked about it when we drafted him.
Toby, excuse me, when you say his name,
the youngest in charge. My apologies.
The youngest in charge.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, good.
But we were talking about it like as the pick came out. I was out and I was texting him because Toby, he works for Virginia Tech radio.
The youngest in charge.
Yes,
Toby Altizer. Okay, good.
He does halftime and all that, so he watches a lot of Virginia Tech football. So
he's a very talented young man.
That he is, and very astute. So when we talked about it, I kind of asked him. I was like, "So what are we getting out of this kid?" He said he's super fast, and he's going to be a great addition to this offense, especially in the return game, in terms of special teams. But also, he's going to take that Diami. He's kind of a Diami Brown, Olamide Zaccheaus hybrid, where he's a little bit smaller, but he can rip the top off a defense and take it deep. So I'm very excited about Jalen Lane. I'm very high on his potential, what he could be, because this kid's lightning fast and he'll burn you. So, and that's the one thing we know about Jaden is that he loves to throw the fade. So I think we're going to see a lot more of that coming out of this year with them too. So I'm excited.
Well, you look at areas when your team's in the NFC Championship game, and there's a lot to really like a lot. But the key to success is putting a string of successful seasons together. Having been on a team, we went back-to-back Super Bowls. You don't accidentally do that. And that means you knew people, if you snuck up on them before, we weren't sneaking up on them anymore. So what I'm looking for, that means back-to-backs, man, that says a lot. What Kansas City has done and what they did last year, to me, is really one of the most amazing things I've seen in football. It was the Kansas City Chiefs last season. They were not the best team.
No, they just pulled it out.
You damn sure couldn't tell. And they took it all the way to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Luck
Sneaking
and experience.
up on somebody when you was garbage. I mean, before that, you on the schedule, you thinking nobody cared about you because you'd operated like it was a buffoon academy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this group comes out and says, we ain't them other people. We ain't Coach Dum Dum and them. We got something different. And sure enough, they pulled it off. Now people circling you. You got a little prime time. The Cowboys are in prime time every week.
Mm-hmm.
Every week. Now, they're the gift that just keeps on giving. Because how do you get a Netflix series and you haven't done anything of significance in 30 years? So who's smart and who's dumb?
Listen, Jerry Jones likes playing the media. That's just one thing I've learned about Jerry in my almost 25 years of existence. Jerry loves to play the media, loves to show off how rich he is, and loves to screw up his football team.
But he gets ratings. So because we like dumpster
it's worked
fires.
For him.
We like fires. We like dumpsters.
It's true.
What is the lure? I'm kidding. I'm not even trying to be funny. What you know the outcome before it starts, and yet people keep buying up. They line up
because money keeps flooding in, Doc. You can't stop.
I was asked last night on with Toothpick
mm-hmm.
and First String Podcast.
Shout out First String.
She had First String, and he said, one of the Cowboy guys is one of them on. I won't embarrass him. He said, I think the Cowboys are going to win the East. And I said, can you say that with a straight face?
Listen, it's an interesting thought. And Brian across the desk for me is a big Cowboys fan. So we've talked about them
I'm
quite
not
a
mad
bit.
at them. They should be. Because they had a lot of success for a long, long time. And they're not like at the bottom.
Yeah. And the thing about the NFC East is like it throughout my entire life, it's never been the team that everyone predicts. And even less often, it's the second team. But for whatever reason, the third team, whether it be the Cowboys, the Eagles, or the Commanders, that nobody really thinks about, will have that weird leap and somehow win the division when the team that won it last year has just a little bit of a fall off.
Well,
so
that's balance. That's the beauty of this division.
It's parity, man. I love it.
Yeah, it is. It's a dogfight, and nobody. It's hard to repeat. It's hard to repeat, no matter who's on your team or what you have. But I found it interesting. He had Jera on last night. So I mean, how many podcasts? You get a guy, you get the owner on, and I just love it. And I'm not mad at it, and I'm not hating. It is so entertaining to have people, a few of my closest associates, Cowboy Club, is a diehard.
Mm-hmm.
But he hadn't worn that hat. I love it when he wore the hat with the star. I love the one star. That is the funniest thing going, because I always refer to it as a credit score or a rating. And so I love it but he don't wear it around here lately.
He knows better.
And I just get the biggest, oh my God, I get the biggest kick out of it. But they are damn good, and they're really talented. But you and I both know you would not bet a dime on them going to the Super Bowl.
Hell no.
Or them going to the NFC Championship game. There is no way in Haiti that you're going to do that. You know it, and I know it.
Yeah.
So that's my point.
For sure.
We had quite a kick of that. But that's interesting. 10:47 here. Kevin Sheehan Show, DOC DHing with Max. And we just have a funky good time. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Light it up. Don't be scared. 301-230-0980 is the number. Back in a moment.
All right. The Indiana Fever last night, they beat the Minnesota Lynx to win the WNBA Commissioner's Cup despite missing Caitlin Clark due to a groin injury. Congratulations to the Fever. Coco Gauff, she falls in Wimbledon yesterday in the opening stages to Ukraine's Danya Yastremska. Frances Tiafoe currently down 2-1 to Cameron Norrie. And Red Panda last night falls off her bike, injures her wrist. She is wheeled off the court. Prayers up to the GOAT. The NHL players will be officially allowed to play in the 2026 Winter Olympics after the NHL and the IOC have reached an agreement. This agreement will also open the door for NHL players to compete in the 2030 Olympics. The Nats, they were rained out last night. They take on Detroit in a doubleheader today. Trevor Williams will take the hill for the Nats against Tigers' Tyler Holton here in the first game. First pitch is at 1:05. Pregame with Charlie and Dave with Nats on deck at 12:35 on The Fan. This update is sponsored by the Team 980 YouTube page. Just open the app, type in the Team 980, hit subscribe. Kevin Sheehan is live from 10 to 1 and Craig Hoffman from 4 to 7. Don't forget to like the stream and turn on notifications to stay up to date on all things DC sports. And that is what's trending.
DOC in for Coach Sheehan. I don't know. I mean, he has so many options, but he's in good spirits, and that's the bottom line to it. Always an honor. Been standing room only, man. That's my guy. We might even reach out to him, Coach Lavero. We will get Tony Massenberg is going to talk on NBA with him. I always feel comfortable around Massenberg, man. You feel like nobody could mess with you when you with T Mass, and get a little more NBA perspective. It is clearly a changing of the guard. And for a guy my age, and I'm closer to 100 than most of you are to 50, it is interesting for me to see this because, again, I saw and went through basically your age. Elgin Baylor was playing. Jerry West was playing. I'm just saying. I saw that. The Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's entire career, start to end, gone. And we get, these guys are here. I remember when I got here, and the Bullets, had a nice pull, man. Like draw. They had a really nice thing going, man. And Wes Unseld, how do you not get into West? That's what that's the period of time in which I was like dunked into this whole ideal. I said, wow, Phil Chenier, 45. We got people in here, ballers. And so it pains me for us not to be highly competitive. It just does. When I got here, there was no Nats. So going down Memorial, going to Baltimore, not a problem. Robinson? Cal? Are you kidding me? I drive 2 hours for that. Because I know what I was going to, because where I grew up, you about an hour and a half from Chavez Ravine. You never thought about the distance. Because it's what I was going to experience was worth it. All I hear around why a stadium where it's going to be, put it wherever. Hell, the way they've been playing, put it in a high school stadium. Who gives a damn? But now that we're going to train and do real pro football, there's only one place for it. You want to be where the monuments are, right? Do you think for 1 second that I believe that it's not going to be there? Not 1 second. The game has got to go. I'm not getting into the business of it. Y'all do you. But we know how deals are done nowadays. Don't speak with forked tongue. It's all about the cash. You got a man willing to put up a large sum of money for his own project. Do I believe that it's going to happen? Yes, I do. But if it doesn't, guess what? I don't care where you play. I care how you play. And as long as we're kicking people's behinds, it will be built and it will get to where it needs to go. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
On the max.
I feel like at on the stadium, like we're at the point where you and I talked about this in our pre-show meeting.
Yeah.
It's just we're kind of to the point where, like you saw it last night or the night before last with this little secret / not so secret meeting that they had at Cafe Milano in Georgetown. It's at the point where you gotta.
Are we stupid? Are we supposed to be stupid?
You gotta grease the hands, line some pockets. Like it's just kind of how it goes in local government. And,
when is it not going this way?
Right. So, like you think the Nats got their stadium without having to do something like this? Like it's just how it goes, man. It sucks. It's politics. There's red tape. There's a bunch of bureaucratic crap
that I get a kick out of. Drive around the area now. It looks like a nuclear fallout. How much money are you making now?
Yeah.
No, so how much money are you making now?
Zilch.
And yet you're going to tell me you're going to be opposing an option to do that? Come on, Slim. But I don't blame them because I've seen dumber things happen.
Gotta do what you gotta do,
in my
man.
lifetime. Yeah,
I get it.
Do what you gotta do. In the meantime, hey man, wherever. We played Langley. We play where? Because it's not where, it's how we play.
Mm-hmm.
I hear people acting like they're having a given birth. Oh, it's got to be. Really doesn't matter. You wouldn't go. Okay, this team, this product that we have, now that we have competent coaching, competent leadership, competent in almost every area, you telling me that you wouldn't drive to Richmond to see JD5?
See, that's the thing.
I'm just saying, answer the damn question.
Doc, I barely want to drive to Landover, man. It is.
If you had tickets,
stadium is hell.
Well, it don't matter. You telling me you wouldn't do it?
Well, see, that's the thing. If I have tickets and if my experience at Commanders Bears this year was anything, of course I'm gonna make every effort.
I don't care where. All I'm saying is that y'all spoiled.
Yeah, for sure.
If the product was an hour away, and it's the right product,
it is an hour away from me, and I'll still go drive.
Well, we got people that come in here from New York.
Yeah,
come from North Carolina. They come from all over.
A lot of times the away fans travel better than the home fans at this park.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's a product, man. It's a product.
Yeah.
It's not like they play every day. I mean, y'all get over yourself. And you know what? If not, again, you're so worried about it, be worried about the product.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like we're in good hands right now. So I feel that. And I think that's a very good I like where we are in this case. I don't know what's going to happen. I can understand the urgency because you want to be able to close those deals for 2030.
Yeah, you want to get done in time for the Women's World Cup because that's going to be a huge event. You're going to
you're talking
WrestleMania, Taylor Swift concerts. You need to get ready for all of that. There's a lot of money in it.
Now you hit it. That's the real thing about it. That's really what we're negotiating.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad at 5 years or how long it takes to go with it, build it out. If the product is worth it, I mean, I can't believe how many people they had to come out to Landover.
Yeah, and the ownership's already shown us like they know how it works. They know how to move and shake in this kind of business industry. I mean, Josh Harris is close friends with the president. So at the end of the day, if something doesn't happen by a certain time, who knows? He might step in.
Transactional, man. It's going deals will happen over the cash. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. But I do, but I'm worried about the product.
For sure.
And that's why my focus is the product. But I'm not mad at you. If you're upset, you're screaming, hollering, and do you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the product that's my concern, is that we're good. And so as long as we keep along those same lines, then I'm good with it. Top of the hour, and we'll take a break. We come back. Let's get a little deeper to some NBA, and to do that, T Mass will join us, and we will drive him nuts. 301-230-0980 is the number. Come aboard. Join us. 11:03 in the nation's capital. I'm honored. It's a privilege to hook up with Tony Massenberg. You don't want to be in the weight room, and you don't want to be on a low block trying to box him out. But if he's on the phone doing an interview, you're safe. T Mass, man, welcome home. How are you?
Good, brother. Thanks for having me.
Always have you, man, because I want to get the truth, the real truth, and nothing but the truth. And I know that you're going to do it without an agenda. Miles Turner, because I'm longer in the tooth. So when I see Miles Turner, a big who can shoot it, a big that can run it, he defends, does a lot of these things, and I see the Los Angeles Lakers who have a hole in their lineup, and there's not a whisper of that, I go, we are now really experiencing a change into the guard. You agree with that?
Do I can't knock that. But at the end of the day, I think when you look at the Lakers situation, players around the league are not as attracted to it as some may think, because when you look on the interior part of it, the inside, the inner workings, having to deal with the LeBron, all of those things. Yeah, when you look at the things that go on behind the scenes, it's not appealing and can be detrimental to your career.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to hear from an expert. I knew how I felt, but I thought as I grew up, I was telling Max, who's a child. I mean, he's 22, 23. How old are you, Max? 24?
24.
He's 24 years old. I got boots 24 years old. So, and so do you, Mass. You ain't that much younger. Okay.
Absolutely.
Not that much younger. But we know a day that when
everything else,
whoever the big man was, he was going to, if they wanted it, and they would got it. But because Bron he's no longer in charge, but he's pouting. Right now, it's just not appealing, and I think they'll pay for it. What has happened? Has anything surprised you that's happened since we last spoke?
The only thing that really threw me, but then after I thought about it, I guess it made sense, was the Bucks waiving Damian Lillard. I thought that kind of threw me a little bit. I didn't see that coming. And but once it happened, I kind of understand, how and the why. And from Damian Lillard, I'm like, well, there's worse things that could happen to me other than, getting, hitting free agency with all my money from my last contract.
Yeah, when you heal. But that's what Father Time is undefeated. Father Time is undefeated. No doubt. Love Dame Time, love all that. But, man, that ship has sailed. And even if you do invest in them, the question is, how long? How many games they're going to play in? And we just saw it with the Celtics. It can happen to anybody. But once you get one like Porzingis, I need you today. I said, when they called me and said, Sheehan is filming a new commercial today or whatever, he's doing something. I go, man. People are being traded now. People go, who, where, why? Porzingis to Atlanta. And I'm listening to people talk about how excited they are for him to play what, 20 games? No, I'm serious. I'm not trying to be funny. But you seeing this as I'm seeing it, he hardly ever plays.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times people get so enamored and so excited about, what they have seen in flashes, and in spurts. And unfortunately, for Porzingis, and we saw it here in D.C., you see stretches of like just freak talent, and you're just like, man, if I could just get that for, 75 games, 75 games, I'd be happy, But unfortunately, they're the same thing that makes him unique, his height, his build, his agility. Those are also the same things that have been problematic for him. So, he's had to deal with a number of injuries, and unfortunately, he hasn't really had a season where he's played close to 82 games. Not even close.
Yeah, yeah. No, he's an alien. I give him that, but I'm just
Yeah.
So I ask you here with the Wizards front. I mean, we know that no matter how they have a defensive mindset. I like the path. We've just seen OKC work with it, basically a skeleton format, if you will. But who the hell isn't? Everybody, for the most part, is trying to get young. Not everybody has an emphasis on defense. But if you don't have anybody who can put the basket, hit the ball in the basket, you're not going to beat anybody. How do you build a program trying to tank? I need you to explain that to me, because you were around a lot of very intelligent people. Anytime you put on your resume San Antonio, that's like going upper class Ivy. So how does this work? We're not going to try to win, but we're going to try to get you better, and we're going to develop you. Explain that to me.
Well, first of all, there's variations on that, and a lot of the factors around it, like, okay, who's available in the up-and-coming draft? You know, it's because some draft classes are generational, you know, franchise-altering, and some draft classes are just kind of average. You get pretty good players, but, you know, nothing that we'll be talking about in 10 years. So that part of it depends on what is it that you're scheming for in the draft, if you're, quote-unquote, trying to, you know, get a certain player in the draft so that you can build around that player. If you have a player and you seemingly still aren't trying to win because you don't have enough pieces around that player, then you have to start scheming, you know, to build around the player and figure out the personality. The team that has done this better than anybody, and I'm not, you know, necessarily accusing San Antonio of tanking, but what happened the year that David Robinson didn't play, and they had and therefore they had a really bad season, and they ended up with Tim Duncan just happened to be the guy in the draft. Okay, well, that's not San Antonio necessarily tanking. They couldn't, you know, David Robinson, you know, actually went and had major surgery that season, and that's how they ended up, you know, having a bad season. And then the next season, of course, when David Robinson comes back, now you got these two guys, and then you basically build your franchise for the next 10 to 15 years around, you know, Tim Duncan and at that time, the David Robinson factor, which was, you know, probably had a 3-4 year span, I think it lasted, and they won, you know, championship there together. Obviously, the first one, you know.
Yeah, Ginobili wasn't chopped liver.
No, Ginobili wasn't chopped liver. Again, but Doc, that speaks to finding those diamonds in the rough and putting the correct pieces around what it is that you have. San Antonio did the best job of that when they acquired a Ginobili, when they acquired a Tony Parker, when they brought in a Robert Horry the year that we were there, like as the best, you know, 6-man closer we had ever seen off the bench. Right. So, you know, when you talk about hitting big shots. So,
you're right.
You know, that's part of it. You have to know what you're doing, and you have to have a little bit of luck to land that generational franchise-altering talent, which is not always there. But again, that year for San Antonio, it was.
Yeah, and so was Pop. And again, it's amazing to me how the smartest people are the luckiest.
Yeah.
Because, you know, getting the first people, we've seen people blow it. You get a rotten people who don't know what the hell they're doing. Just because you have the job or in position does not mean you know what you're doing. How many times and examples do we have to be fed? It's mind-boggling. Max, we got a question for you.
Yeah, so Tony, it's been a whirlwind couple of days with NBA free agency and all that, and there's been a lot of people have been talking about the Hawks and the Rockets as kind of the off-season winners so far. So I was curious as to who you kind of think has put themselves in the best position to kind of take that next step, like the Rockets did, adding Kevin Durant and stuff like that. So who's really put themselves in the best position to succeed for next year?
You know, I think the Jordan Clarkson signing in New York was a good signing for the Knicks, because they have clearly needed another go-to scorer outside of Jalen Brunson. So I like that deal there. I think it will help them potentially, maybe, you know, take it to the next level, because they always ran out of gas under Tibbs, and maybe some folks, blame him for that because, they look at the team and they say, well, they keep getting, to this point every year and they seemingly either break down or they just, why can't they get over the hump? And to me, a lot of it's been that they're so heavily offensively relying upon Jalen Brunson, especially in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, to where he has to work so hard to get baskets. And because he's exceptionally talented, he's able to pull it off sometimes. But there are times, because he is a smaller guard, it becomes difficult for him. So I think to have a guy like a Jordan Clarkson who is a bucket anywhere on the court, I think would, maybe at least force the defense to pay attention to someone else.
Go on with your bad self, Max.
I agree. The Jordan Clarkson signing, it's going to help the Knicks a lot. But do you have any other kind of big players? Like I saw the Hawks signed out Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Like I said, the Rockets bringing Kevin Durant.
Rockets are interested.
Sengun.
Now I thought we were excluding that. I didn't know you were asking me what was the most impactful signing. I thought you were comparing a signing like the impact. The most impactful to me is the Kevin Durant move.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the one. Yeah.
And so because I think the Rockets have really put themselves in position to kind of take that next step, adding that scorer and offloading Jalen Green, because I think there's been a lot of talk about his talent level is exceptional, but at the same time you have to have that for a lack of a better term, that dog in you, and I'm not exactly certain that a guy like Jalen Green has that in him.
Well, here's the thing. When you look at the talent that Jalen Green has, that's off the chart. We see the talent. What I hate about his generation, meaning Jalen Green's generation, it's not something that I hate about the generation itself. It's what I hate the parameters of their generation has been subjected to, from basically going straight from AAU to the pros. And so from a developmental standpoint, some guys, you see that show up at the pro level more than others in certain situations. And I think Jalen is a perfect example of that. He's a guy who's so talented that I really think that there's a missing gap in the maturity of his game. And because when I talk about the maturity, meaning a go-to move, understanding certain game situations, he has to learn these things. And a lot of these things come by way of experience and maturity of which he has neither, because he just hasn't played long enough and he hasn't been in the league long enough. And he hasn't, because he's part of this AAU generation that jumps basically straight from high school to the pros and then are somehow expected by people to be great. When I look at a Kevin Durant, that was a maturation process. He went from high school, he went to college for a year where he was awesome. He then ascended to the pros and had a great rookie year and continued to get better, and still is better now statistically than he was earlier in his career, which says everything when you consider the injuries. That's a maturation process. So to me, that's the biggest, most impactful trade this season, simply because the Rockets were able to upgrade and address the area where they needed addressing. And if you're Kevin Durant, you got a group of young dogs around you who are defensive minded, who are also great team guys who you can play with, and that lightens the load for him defensively, which is exactly what you want, because the most important part of Kevin Durant's game is his ability to get buckets and, more importantly, to close for you at the end. So if he's fresh at the end of games, because he doesn't have to do a lot of that dirty work because he's got guys around him that do that, and all he needs to do is basically close, he's going to be more effective because of that, and I think that gives the Rockets a better chance.
You mentioned lack of maturity, the Malik Beasley. This is an example where you're talking about that AAU, that jumping and going, and your skill set may be there, but mentally you come up short. Right. And you haven't been around enough old heads to kind of help mellow you.
Exactly. To groom you.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot like cooking. It's when the benefit of marinating something is a huge asset to the inline product and the taste. But it takes time, expertise, and a step that some people, they shortcut it. The young people, no, I don't need that. Well,
exactly.
There's a thing that grandma did that mom learned that he tried to pass down. This generation thinks they go, oh no, I already figured that out because of some damn computer or handheld device, and that's why they end up in the world. And this young man right now, right when he was on the doorstep to getting paid, could be out.
Could be out. We'll see what the evidence says, and again, this is unfortunate, but at the same time, hey, listen, I blame the young man for his decision making, but at the same time, look at the culture right now around sports betting and Doc, all of this stuff was unheard of when you and I were playing professionally.
Thank God. So I'm glad. I'm glad there was no social
media,
let's just no wagering.
Yeah. Let's just think about that. So again, once again, we have a culture that, sometimes rears its ugly head by the actions of some of the guys that are, immersed in it. And sometimes depending on the individual, you can make a bad decision that ultimately can ruin it all for you.
Yeah. Well, that is the way it goes, man. And as always, I always like hearing it. I don't know about you, Max, but from a guy who's been there and done it. And he's not promoting a product. We're telling you the truth. And it's something that y'all call it old school. And I call it the only school. Because that other stuff, a lot of it's fake. And only time will tell. It's the same thing that your old heads you say about us coming in. But the game changers now it's gambling. The lure of that. This is the tip of the iceberg because it's the lure of it. And there are people that get checked. It's a disease. So, hello, control it. No different than they didn't ban alcohol from stores. They're not going to ban this. But just going to take some control, some guardrails. There's somehow, some way, I just hope the league is ready for it and doesn't get caught off guard because this thing is going to end up being tragic. Hate to say it. Mass, appreciate you, man. Once again, loaning your skills out to the underprivileged. We appreciate that.
Thanks for having me, man. Always a pleasure.
You're the best, man. Tony Massenberg, Terp, world champion, Spur, he gets it. He gets it. And I trust him because he's not telling you something someone told him. He's telling you something he lived through. I know y'all don't like expertise. You've proven that to me. I'm convinced of that. But it was good stuff. Look at Max, man. Max going hardcore detail. You know what, Max? I keep forgetting that you are a talent.
You forget I'm a journalism major, Doc. Exactly. I went to school for this. I'm built for it.
Yeah, you are built for it. You are built for it. That's why I like working with you because you are built for it. And but either way, it can come in a lot of different forms. But it's all good to I feel bad for the kid. I think everybody deserves a second chance. But how do you read? He ain't the first guy to get popped.
No, he's not. Like this happened with who he has other famous brothers.
It was in Phoenix.
Yeah, Jonte Porter.
Yeah, there you go. Hey man, I always get excited when I remember things because there may come a time.
It may be a time when you never get it back,
Yeah, I get excited when I remember things, Y'all can laugh all you want to. I don't take it for granted. I do not take it for granted. But that is interesting. And his brother, and it'd be one thing if the guy's a star and think he's got a little cachet. Hey man, I can do what I want to do. How the hell can you be the last man on the bench? How dumb is that? And you do something illegal. You don't even play. You own the team, but you don't play. That should be an indication is that maybe I need to save a little something. How can you be the biggest spender and you at the end of the bench? You tell me. That's why I think there's always a chance for clinical assistance is always needed. And it's more evident to me in basketball because we see people playing basketball more so. You don't see people all the time playing football, even though flag is picking up. But they invest as much as the typical or average baller invest in his craft, his game, than to go and just give it up by doing something that's crazy. How much they invest, that to me, but we see it all the time. Like a guy that is not good with his offhand. He makes it all the way to the NBA, to the pros, and he can't dribble. You know how many people in the NBA can't shoot? Make a living, can't shoot. Don't have a handle. Don't use the offhand. You tell me. But that's the beauty about what we do, man. It's all up for discussion, and I'm glad we get a chance to do it. The Team 980 listener line is 301-230-0980, and we welcome you to jump into it. I wanted to ask you about Jake Paul. There's so much I almost want to interview you.
Oh, gosh.
But no, Jake, let me tell you what. Do you believe you can fake boxing?
Yeah. Well,
you think them blows? No, I'm just telling you.
All right. The blows aren't fake.
Okay.
But at the same time, you can train yourself to take those blows and make it look real. You know what I mean? Make it look like an actual, like you're actually fighting for your life.
Okay. With the Savannah Bananas, the Harlem Globetrotters, what are they? Highly entertaining.
Of course.
I love them. I love what they do. So what's the difference between them? And that's where I look at Jake Paul. Now, he's smart. He go out and pick a man that you would really, seriously, all kidding aside, we might have a shot in the ring against him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They don't get anybody that can really physically beat them, which is smart. And yet, just like the Dallas Cowboys allure, he's telling you, I'm getting a tomato can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to fight a guy that is terrible.
I'm not going to fight somebody if I think I can lose.
And you pack arenas and pay-per-view, and you blame him?
No, I'm not blaming him. I'm blaming the country at large. And I think the country at large kind of...
It's like the Dallas Cowboy theory. You know the outcome.
Yeah.
They're going to fail.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. And yet you still hype it.
Well, so I think...
Paul, now, I like Jake. Look, I look at this brother. This brother is ripped. He puts in the work. He's actually getting better.
Sure.
Every clown show, every clown he fights. But I'm thinking to myself, now, if this was on some closed circuit, if you were doing this on some other sidebar, he's got pay-per-view filling up arenas. Well, and he's fighting tomato cans.
So this is the thing about Jake, and him and his brother are very good at cutting promos and doing the whole like poking and prodding, pushing the general public's buttons and all that good crap that you need to be like a professional wrestler or boxer and do exactly what they do. It is, but at the same time, I think the American public has kind of lost its luster for that. Especially after it was the Tyson fight that I think really did it for everybody.
Yeah, but it was hoodwinked.
Because we were
Jared was behind that too.
Absolutely,
in the Jerry world.
I was visiting my brother in Chicago, and so people were out in droves to watch this fight. I mean, every bar that we went to was jam packed, and like you could feel the energy in the bar, just kind of like, oh yeah, like first round, like everybody was ready to go, and then bam. Like you hit the second or third round and it kind of hit everybody like, oh, Mike doesn't have it. Jake's kind of kicking his ass and it doesn't look great. And I'm not sure how much I am going to enjoy watching this. And towards the end of the fight, like the entire bar was just booing. So I feel like the general American public has much largely the
You
same
don't think
reaction.
he made money?
No,
by the tomato can?
I know he made money, and good
he
for
got
him.
paid
Like,
again.
He did,
and
he
he'll
did
get
perfectly
paid
fine.
again. If he fought you, he would still make some gain. I'm telling you.
I know. I'm with you on
because
that.
he's entertaining.
But
it's entertaining.
I'm saying
the Harlem Globetrotters, you knew they weren't going to play a regular basketball team. It was entertaining. Savannah Bananas, it's great. It's great.
Hey, the Savannah Bananas still lose baseball games. I'll have you know.
Well, but it's entertainment.
Yeah.
They're still making money.
Absolutely.
They're making money. The Dallas Cowboys have a huge following, and you know it's a train wreck. That's my point.
Mm-hmm.
Don't blame them. Blame the people.
Yeah.
To follow it.
Fair.
That's all I'm saying. It's America, man. You have the right to be just as dumb as britches if you want to, and we will allow you to do that all on your own. All right.
True.
We'll take a break here. Kevin Sheehan Show. Coach is doing a commercial, and he gives his love to his fan base. We're holding it down right here. DOC pinch hitting for Sheehan. We'll be right back.
All right, we are back. And right before we came back, I wanted to bring up something that I just saw as we were coming back.
What'd you see?
So the headline is, and I know you won't care too much. Well, fans will care about
Well, you
this.
don't know. You don't know. Try it.
Well, all right. Sources reveal dates for NFL alternate throwback helmet and uniform unveiling. So, yes, I know, Doc.
No, it's good.
But
it's good.
We are a part of this unveiling. So the Commanders, the Bucks, the Browns, the Steelers, the Saints, the Packers, and the Seahawks are all going to be revealing new alternate or throwback helmets. So according to sportslogos.net, the Commanders helmet reveal is going to take place 1 week from today. Our sources have indicated that the Washington Commanders will be the first to reveal a new alternate helmet and jersey on July 9th. And so here's where we get a little bit of credit. A recent report from the Kevin Sheehan Show, the Team 980 AM in DC.
Coach, you prefer to be called Coach.
That's right.
Don't disrespect the coach, okay?
Coach suggests that they will resemble the Redskins era uniforms, will become a part of a full uniform redesign in 2026. So July 9th, new helmets. I'm very, very, very excited about this because how
can you not be?
Right. Well, like I always want, of course I want it to return like as true to form as you can possibly get. Now,
agreed.
I for one love the logo that Blackie Wetzel designed. I think it's all timeless classic, really. But I've accepted the fact that we'll probably never get anything like that on a helmet again. Now with I'm just gonna speculate because I know nothing other than this report, but like last year, you remember the whole Dan Quinn thing wearing the W logo with the feather on the back of it, and a lot of people freaked out and were like, "Oh, they're bringing it back." Now we could see something like that on the new helmets, but I'm excited to see where they end up going. I know it's probably going to be because like Kevin and I have talked about it on air. It'll probably be some kind of return to form, which is something I'm really looking forward to. So. Yeah, new helmets in a week for the alternates, but going forward in 26, that's probably going to be the new standard.
Look, I'll take it. I'll hope so. You don't know. I would just love to have the old uniforms back. I think it's a sin for any group that is a championship operation that has won a world championship. To get further away from that look, because that's the distinction of being a true champion.
Being a winner.
It is disrespectful to me. Some of the uniform modifications that have happened, not just on this group's watch, but before it was such a clown show. And I hope they get it together. Now I'm far more concerned about the guys wearing the uniform and how they play.
Of course.
That I am and what they if they'd come out and can kick Philadelphia's behind and go to the Super Bowl, they can be in polka dots. I'll be wearing polka dots.
True. But
because there's
something to the saying, you look good, you feel good, you play good. So
it never worked here in the past 24 years. Okay, so I don't buy that crap either.
You got a point there.
It's about it, but everybody's right. Don't follow me. Trust me. Stay stuck on stupid. And you see how many wins that got you. I don't look the W. I held to the W. Polly 757 all the way through. I'm not mad because again, I'm not hung up on what you wear. I'm hung up on how you play.
Of course.
And so when I look back, I'm just glad that when I walk in a place that backed the team that won championships, I call it's a championship uniform. Now, if they don't want to embrace that, so be it. I'm following their script. I just want to be 12-5. Can you do what you did last year?
Can you go 12-5
hey,
again,
man, I'm
please?
all into it. I can buy the W. If putting the feather on that kills you, then don't do it. But I tell you what, you're losing a ton of money.
Yeah.
Because there are people, and I respect their right to do it. They wouldn't be caught dead in no new gear. And they want to have, but if they
The host
close
of
it,
this show.
it makes sense to just get a little closer. Don't just go high side on us. No, because there are enough people will follow you. You don't realize how many dollars you're losing.
Yeah.
See, that's the whole thing I go with. Man, this is economics too. Let's not kid ourselves. I guarantee you this new look is going to be as close to the old look as possible.
Yeah.
Because these guys are intelligent.
They know what they want.
And they're intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
See, we were run by some people that had a very low IQ. No longer the case.
That's a really nice way of putting it too, Doc.
Well, what was the results?
None? I'd prefer none.
No, I'm not trying to cast stones. Nothing but the facts, Slim.
Yeah.
Nothing but the facts. And they jeopardize. And again, it's reckless. And they're not the only ones. It's been done all over sports. But because somebody's got to be in charge that is competent, that has an IQ higher than Lassie's, that won't stand for BS.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm asking for. And these guys are doing it. What more do you want? We want to see if they can do it twice.
Right.
We want to see if they build on it.
Duplicate
Helmet day, all these gimmicks, helmet day. I don't get, but they were 12 and what? Okay, you want to do helmet day? I'm with you. Matter of fact, I'll be there. No problem. Just keep winning. Keep getting the NFC Championship game. Not a problem. No problem. Whatever y'all do, go for it. But just win, baby. But don't come out here and get gutted and then tell me about a uniform, because I don't give a crap. I want to be the people inside the uniform to have purpose and to fight like hell to be the best they can be. And then we're good. Then we're good. Name, color, and all that. Y'all want to wear black? Whatever. But if you're good in it, see that Hail Mary, that's why it's one good thing about the black uniforms. The Hail Mary.
Yeah, turned your opinion right around, huh?
Win in it.
Yeah.
I can accept it. I don't like none of it, but I'm accepting of it because you won in it.
Yeah.
If you win in it, you know what I mean? I can be swayed. I can be convinced.
Yeah.
Who the hell am I worried about you in dead last place in the past and you worried about a uniform?
Yeah.
Really? Or your name? Your name is garbage. That's what you should have called yourself, the Washington Garbage.
Hey, garbage men get some respect around here.
Well, that's what you were putting out. That's what you were putting in Quack Show.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's over. I don't even want to go back. It's a waste of my time to go back. Whatever they do, they keep winning. I support the hell out of it.
Yeah.
And that's good. And as long as, again, I'm going to be very specific. Hand in the dirt, you got my attention. If we shore up that, we're close. And what more do you want? What more do you want? 301-230-0980 is the number. It's but yeah, everybody has a right to their own opinion. What would our format be like if everybody agreed with everything we say? Boring. Okay.
It's true.
Have a take. But come in with it well rehearsed. Okay. If not, it's going to be like Dikembe. No. You will get rejected. We'll be right back.
All right. Last night, the Indiana Fever defeat the Minnesota Lynx to win the WNBA Commissioner's Cup despite missing Caitlin Clark due to a groin injury. Wimbledon going on right now. It has been a rough start for the Americans. Coco Gauff falls in the opening stages to Ukraine's Diana Yastremska, and Frances Tiafoe falls today to Britain's Cameron Norrie. The NHL free agency continues as some former Caps have come off the market. Lars Eller is signing a one-year deal in Ottawa. Andrew Mangiapane signs a two-year deal in Edmonton, and Taylor Radish signs with the New York Rangers. The NHL has also reached an agreement with the International Olympic Committee to permit NHL players to play in the 2026 Winter Olympics. This agreement will also open the door for the players to be in the 2030 Winter Olympics as well. Nats were rained out yesterday and take on Detroit in a doubleheader today. Trevor Williams will take the hill against, for the Nats against the Tigers' Tyler Holton. First pitch is at 1:05 in pregame with Charlie and Dave with Nats on deck at 12:35 on the Fan. This update is sponsored by the Team 980 YouTube page. Just open the app, type in the Team 980, hit subscribe. Kevin Sheehan is live from 10 to 1 and Craig Hoffman from 4 to 7. Please don't forget to like the stream and turn on notifications to stay up to date on all things DC sports. And that is what is trending.
Welcome back. DOC on a hot microphone. DHing for coach. Could be an awards procedure. You never know with Sheehan. Sheehan, I mean, whatever it was, I just hope the security is beefed up enough. Okay, I've got some good news. And I've got some great news.
Ooh.
Now, the good news is that Prime Day is almost here. The great news is this year you'll get 4 of them.
Oh, my.
Ooh.
4 days.
4 days to find deals on all your favorite things. Shop Prime Day July 8th through the 11th at Amazon.com. How you like that?
Love me some Prime Day deals.
Yeah, that is strong. Love deals from all the way.
Get a couple Echo Dots on the cheap. Those things are.
Hey, man.
Love having those around the house.
Yeah, it's all good. You notice how oftentimes, free things taste better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's got to be something between wiring from the brain. It's something about that. Oh man, some of the best meals in the world have been free meals.
It's true.
Now, if you don't believe me, you listen to our first caller. Let's go to a man that he's never met a topic that he doesn't know about. Little, welcome home.
I did right, legend. Shout out to Mad Max.
let me help the junkies out first, and I got another issue I want to run it by you. They was talking about the pension sit-up for the NBA. What they have is, when they enter the NBA, they have 1 year to establish an IRA, individual retirement account, and they have to put $10,000 in there to establish it. Before the NBA, I got a couple of cousins played in it, but back in the day, Doc, that's why I know this.
Oh, I know you know.
Ain't
You're
no
an expert in
401 or
everything.
ain't no TSP. Ain't no 401 TSP. They got to open up their own individual retirement account for the maximum of 10. The minimum, I think, is 10,000. Then
Look,
the NBA.
Did the junkies not allow you access?
Nah, I was working out. I couldn't get in. I didn't want to call. I sometimes I get up early, sometimes I get up a little late, Doc. I keep.
Well,
it
do me a
big,
favor.
brother.
Do me a
But
favor.
look, one other thing.
Call them tomorrow
I'm
and
gonna let them
explain
know.
that they deserve to hear it from you.
Yeah, I'm gonna call
Because
them.
our audience didn't hear it. If we didn't hear it, then don't take up my time. Deal with the junkies.
I'm really getting to that age where I do get up that early. You know, I just turned 64.
Go right for it. What's your next topic?
This is very important here, because I ex-Charlotte, I ex-Oklahoma, and I ex-Annapolis. I say y'all call yourself Redskin diehard fans, but you know where I see it, Doc? I gave them one little simple question. I ain't heard back nothing from anybody. I know they listening. I asked them what legends from the George Allen days, which they was called the Redskins, because I was working the stadium back then. I was 17 years old. Was on the sidelines when Joe Gibbs was running Super Bowl. Ain't nobody hit me back yet. But you know what though? I'm gonna call it now. It was Charlie Teller, you numbskulls. You talking about you want a name change, but I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna ask you one more question.
Let me give you some advice.
Would you rather have a Super Bowl victory or a name change? Would you rather have a Super Bowl victory or a name change? Charlie Teller was a legend, Doc.
To start a podcast. You need to be on a podcast.
Yeah. I'm gonna get there.
All right.
Doc, I know some big people downtown, man.
Appreciate you, dog.
You know what, Doc?
We got to run. Say goodbye. Lap. You have got to top that. Little came on here doing a PSA. First of all, he mad at my boys. He mad at Junks. And then he doing the PSA. I love him. But my God, he has got to get a podcast.
Yeah, I'm
What's
with
up?
him, man. Look, he need to put me on a podcast with him, man. And I'm down with that, man. We can get
good. Y'all be good. What's on your mind, Lap?
Oh man, I want this throwback, man. I'm excited about it. You know what I'm saying? I know, of course, you know, Doc, you want wins, and that's what we want. But I really want to see what they're gonna do with these throwbacks. I'm hoping it's the
what do you want
spears on the helmet. The spears on the helmet would be nice. Yeah, the spears on the helmet.
And how do
really
you
nice.
okay? Are we talking about relevance to the Commanders or throwback and nostalgia?
What was the throwbacks? I mean, what was the helmets that we had before the Redskin ones? Didn't they do the spear? Wasn't that like in the 70s?
They did the spear. They're gonna do the R. Yeah, because the W I like much better than the R that they had.
Yeah, I'm open for the W2. W2.
Yeah.
Hey Doc, let me ask you this about the season. I know you said you know, wins and losses start on the front for offense and defense. So do you think on the defensive side, because we broken it up the offensive side with the offensive line helping Jaden out, do you think
they did the same thing on the defense side? They got bigger. They got bigger defensively as well. They got bigger.
Okay.
Now they got not only is Philly big, well, yeah, they got bigger. But now they got to prove they can be better. See, Philly's big and physical and fast. You got size is good, but you can't be as stiff. So we'll find out when the pad's on.
Yeah.
I don't have the ability to evaluate a game that's played in full pads when they're in nylons. So we'll have to wait and see. I've seen a lot of big people not do anything. I've seen a whole bunch of big people not bust a grape. So we'll see. Appreciate you, Lap.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to mess this up. Okay. Samaja Did I blow that?
Samaj.
Oh, Samaj.
The Be More
Okay.
Violator.
Oh, my God. Well, you should have put that down. What's up, baby?
What's up, Doc? Thanks for y'all taking my calls always,
you know what? Having a good time, man. Dealing with the people.
Yeah, you are, Doc. As always.
I don't know how to do it any other way.
I know that's right, big bro.
But the truth.
I know that's right, big bro. Listen, I know you always big on IQ, just like you big on wins. So I hope, and as I'm in petty mode because we're in the off season, I definitely had to call in and speak to this new look or retro look or whatever. And my IQ just says this: they can keep it simple and keep it real. And I can't remember the gentleman.
What do you want?
I can't remember. Listen to me. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but Chief so and so and so and so was the logo.
Chief Z.
If I'm not mistaken.
No, not.
Oh,
Chief was.
Oh, you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, if I'm not mistaken, Doc, Chief is synonymous with Commander. It's a perfect fit. It's a perfect match. I'm starting the campaign right now. Hopefully, Kevin Sheehan, the good old coach, will co-sign on me. But I want the logo back full time. They can do all this other stuff, for special dates and all of that. But bring the logo back with Chief so-and-so full time, because a chief is a commander. It fits. And to keep the W, throw the W on the pants, on the waist, and you got the best of both worlds from a marketing and economic standpoint. You don't got to go retrofit behind a new logo. Keep the W in play. Add a feather to it if you like. Keep a W in play. But bring back the logo. I want to see Chief so-and-so at the 50 again in the new arcade stadium or wherever it's going to be. Thanks for taking my call, y'all. Keep the blessings.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's a good deal. That's a way I'd be good with it. I'm good with all of it. But I realize that the most important thing is how we perform in it. And I just can't lose that point. I think some people would take it and we'd be 0-16 and they would take it. I'm not one of those.
Yeah, the question that I think, was it the Junkies or was it Beamish and Finley that they put out, would you rather have Dan Snyder as the owner and keep the Redskins name, or would you rather like that? It's a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, I love think of the Junks.
Yeah,
I almost threw up. It was a great topic. I give them credit.
Yeah, it gets
all the credit in the world.
Gets calls, gets the people going, but damn, man, no.
It's like I like Penn State's uniform.
They're clean. They're classic.
But it's who they are.
Yeah,
it's who they've been.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan.
That was my next one.
Would you take the if you take the Wolverine helmet, I'm like, you lose so many alums.
Mm-hmm. It's the whole.
They got a color. They got a color they wear. I don't even know what the color is, but it's not burgundy. Would it kill you just to get the colors right? Burgundy and gold. How hard is that? But again, I'm asking a group of people that made these changes way before that are where they rightfully should be now, unemployed. They made the decision. But how hard is it? Who changes that? Would you go to Ohio State and change their color? Would you go to Texas? The burnt orange is classic.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to like it, but you know what it is, and you know what it represents. Suppose they change that. How would you feel about it?
Yeah, if they turned burnt orange into a slightly brighter shade of like prison jumpsuit orange, like it's just
exactly.
Yeah.
What numbskull would even consider that to be a good idea? All the people that contribute to universities over the years here because they're feeling attachment. I felt detached from this group. I felt cut out of this group.
Mm-hmm.
Based on that. That's how insensitive they were not to consider all the people that put blood and sweat into the organization. But so be it. We'll see. I can't wait to see how this vote goes. Be interesting, to say the very least. Coming up on top of the hour, young fella, little scoot so we can pay for your enormous salary. 301-230-0980 is the number. Join us if you have a take. If you don't, do us a favor and don't join us. We'll be back. Team 980, listener line 301-230-0980. Doc Walker in for Coach Kevin Sheehan. It might be a TED Talk. Yeah, that's probably what he's doing. He's I do know this is not a golf break. He's working.
No.
I think it was a TED Talk.
We should get Kevin on a TED Talk, though. I think he'd do a pretty good one. I think he'd do a good job.
No, he's done them. What do you mean we're going to get him? He's done them. Yeah. He's a classic. It'd be fantastic. I did reach out to Brother Lavero, and he talking about a guy doing TED Talks. Tommy, oh my goodness, man. What I miss about being on the road most is your time that you're with the crew. And there are a few people better on the planet than being on the road than Tom Lavero. I'm telling you, he should sell it. He should really have, like that cruise lines, like they have weekend spare. You can get on a boat, go around the district, Potomac. He should actually auction or sell like a weekend with Tommy. And just be in a certain city of sports-related themes. And I guarantee you, it's worth the price of admission because he has such a vast knowledge of athletics and the games. And, most of this stuff happens, a lot of it happens off the field, off the court, off the diamond. There's a lot of things to be dealt with. You're a baseball guy, and I have you take a look at the Nats. There's no one quick fix for the Nationals.
No, I mean, you gotta, and that's the thing. I don't pride myself on being like the biggest baseball guy, but at the same time, I understand that you need to fix your pitching rotation in your bullpen, and that's part of that.
Fix.
Listen,
they have to get a bullpen.
Yeah, and part of that is getting guys healthy and getting your prospects up and running. But at the same time, it's just you got to find a way. But these young guys have got to come along, and they're trying. Like they're not. What am I trying to say? They're not floundering out there, but they're not living up to the expectations that we kind of think. Like Keibert Ruiz and guys like that just have got to kind of step up. And it's at the same time, the Davey Martinez thing, like being so defensive of the coaching staff and stuff like that, how it's always on the players, and it's frustrating. With the lack of success comes a lot of finger pointing.
Yeah, he's done it.
Yeah,
but they're not doing it. See, to me, you keep it simple. It's never personal.
Yeah, it's harder to do it again. You know what I mean? Than do it once.
Yeah, but if it's just results based, it's clear as day.
Yeah,
there's nothing to fog it up. I don't need no commentary. It's black and white. Wins, losses, errors, mental errors, and physical errors. There's a difference.
For sure.
But if those are things have to be evaluated. But then again, you got to go upstairs. Rizzo has had his hands tied, one hand tied behind his back the whole time he's been in position. Everybody understands that.
Yeah. And I think everybody from, the most casual of fan to all the way up to Mike Rizzo understands that.
Yeah, but how do you not look at this? And Nationals will have their first jersey sponsor patch. What? Well, where was the outcry for them to get one last year or the year before that?
Well, it wasn't even just that. But the other thing is like Nats Park is still without a corporate name sponsor, and that's probably, that's going to be a very lucrative deal if that.
Yeah, but how many calls do we receive about that? We don't get calls about that.
Nobody calls in here, but listen. If you want to build your bankroll, this is how you got to do it. You got to sell everything you can.
I don't hear. I think if the ownership is in flex, meaning that they have not demonstrated to me that they want to be in this business.
No. And that's the thing. A lot of MLB owners now are treating it this way. Like you see it with the Pirates, you see it with the Rays, you see it with us.
Well, the Pirates have been the best. Now, the
Pirates got skiing, so they're good, man.
Horrible. Yet, now, how can you keep him?
Right.
Are they allowed to? That's the way they run their business. The way they run their business, to me, I'm glad they're not in this city. See, I remember the Pirates, we just lost Cobra.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I remember We Are Family. Do you know how long ago that's been?
Almost half a century at this point,
Yeah,
Doc. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
And they are terrible. And it's just to accept it that way. And what irritates me is these teams that come out and tell you, oh, by the way, we're going to suck. And we don't plan to do much about it. And if you're ones who got a free stadium, and you got the audacity to tell me what you're not going to do, okay, Slim.
It's absurd.
All right. But it's happening all over the country. And what kills me is how professional teams can lose or tank and not reduce their prices. Expect me to pay the load for them to be inadequate. And we call that pro ball. What? What the hell are we even discussing tanking in any sport? But we do it. We do it. And then complain about it. So who's the dum-dum on that? And it's accepted? Well, not here, Slim. If I'm paying you, I expect you to play your behind off. And if you can't get the job done, and I picked you, that means my bad. The question is, how long am I going to have this? Who's picking the people? Who's teaching? Who's developing? If we're making errors, who takes responsibility for that? 301-230-0980. I'm asking a question. Holler at you, boy. What more you want me to say? This is what goes on in pro sports. I don't mind college, but you already ruined that too. Now you got young kids running around showing watches. Ain't won nothing. Running around doing this. They got a symbol up. And y'all took the bait. You bid on it. One of the good things that happened throughout our society was that was a pure example of that. What are we doing? What are we promoting? Kids on college campuses driving Lambos? What? You ain't paying no rent, no mortgage. And we accept this. And yet we have a body, the NCAA. Who the hell's in charge? Am I talking in a tunnel? You got people making gross salaries. What are they doing for it? What do they do to earn it? And why is it so accepted that these imbeciles do these things and we let them get away with it? So now you got your babies out here with $500,000, $1 million, whatever, with no rent. How do you think that's going to work out? One thing about being poverty, and I'm not bragging about the fact that we was in Stone Ages. They're paying you $500 to wear your behind out all week. But what you gain in that, you ask me, do I wish I had a phone that did everything but sing and talk to me when I was in high school? I'm so glad I didn't. Would I have wanted it? Of course. Would it have been the best for me? Don't think so. Don't think so. Try teaching some of these numbskulls to have this electronic power that's been given to them now. And that's why I love our teachers. Can you imagine teaching some of these athletes right now that we talk about daily? I don't know, Max. I could give you a couple examples and ask you, how would you think that person was in class? and that we don't give them enough praise. And that is the people that have to deal with these young people who now have some cash. And they have to try to educate them in a way. And we think that's...
But at the same time, like, let's be real here, Doc.
Okay.
These kids who are making all this money, they're not attending class. They're not going in person. This is all Zoom. This is all done on Canva now. All these kids, all they need is a laptop. That's it, and then they can just go to practice and be at practice and take care of their little 300-word assignment, and boom, you're done. And that's a college credit, and that's how it works.
Better players then. Okay, if that's all they're doing, they need to be better players.
Listen, I agree with you, but
yeah, because they're doing college is semi-pro then.
But hey, at the same time, you know, I didn't come to college to play school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I came to play ball and have a good time.
We're the only two people that seem to have interest in this, so I'll let it fly. But I look at this and I wonder, and yet all this being said, there's some outstanding young people that come out and great performers. And we're talking about the baseball program here professionally. They have some really good talent. They do.
Mm-hmm.
And this young man that we're framing as being a generational talent he's a real McCoy. I just like seeing his development, and but we'll see. I would like to see. Hopefully, somebody will offer them a ton of money for the program, because I think that's what's needed personally.
Yeah,
I want the people that, like the Harris group, to me is enthusiastic about owning the burgundy and gold.
Very much so.
Yeah, I like that. I think you look at this, and I think even with the Caps and the Ted is enthusiastic about ownership of the team. Whether or not I agree with the techniques and the philosophies and all that, the coaches, that's a different story. But I never doubt his zeal, his enthusiasm about the product and the team. Just got to get, and he's gotten a lot better, smarter people around him. And I think they're doing a much better job, and you're seeing some of the offspring as a result of that. You have a valuable asset. And I understand there's been some tragic deaths in the family that's slowed some things down. Why did it take so long to get a sponsor? 301-230-0980. I'm asking the question. If Max doesn't have an answer for me, then I'm really lost. And we know little. He'll call up and say he does, but he doesn't. He doesn't have an answer for it, or he'd already answered it. Why did it take so long? Why are we one of, I think, 5 teams that don't have advertisement or did not tap into that vein so that they could reap the benefits financially? Why? I wish I had an answer. I don't, and that's why I'm asking you. Usually you guys are able to bail me out and you figure it out and you answer the question. If you don't think it's a worthy question, I get you. We'll let it slide. But big fan of the game. I think when you grow up, as I did, and it was number one almost with everybody, it pains me to see the game as it is right now. But hopefully it'll stay. I've heard people say James Wood won't be here longer than you can shake a stick at. Not sure. But he does deserve to get paid. No doubt about that. Don't do a Jera and wait till the end and have to overpay. It seems very smart to me. Do it early. Get it in. So maybe we can have some value to it. I don't know. But you can't win without guys that are unusual. And he's unusual. So I'll say that without a doubt. Let's go to another break. 301-230-0980 is the number. And we will continue to wrap this bad boy up in the short term. And you know what's next. And you don't want to miss it. Be right back. Feel like we've been in a mechanics mode today, trying to fix issues, fix problems, see if we can get the car back on the road. Think we've solved anything? Max, you think we fixed anything?
I don't know how much we can fix from the inside of a radio booth, but we can sure give our ideas on how to fix it. That's for sure.
Well,
we're using our platform, you know?
Yeah, the key is that but have we decided that there's a problem?
On certain things, sure.
Fixed?
I mean, listen, we've gone into the minutia of these issues for many of our teams, like the Wizards rebuild, the Nats rebuild. We've compared the two at length on.
Let's not leave the Mystics out.
Hey,
see, that's progress.
I'll get to them.
That's a directional shift that visually you can see it.
Yeah,
because it's select people. 2 of the 3 they selected are active and are fantastic.
Oh yeah, no, the Mystics rookies this year are fantastic. Aleo Edwards on the trade block, troublesome. Some are saying, and you're getting. I'm trying to say this as diplomatically as I can. Linnell wants his an apology from the public at large, and Big L Luell.
Oh, Big L. Okay, all right.
Yeah, he wants an apology from the public at large. Drab was on the Angel Reese train along with Linnell, and so now it's they're being proven right, and they're taking a little bit of a victory lap. So, but at the same time, the Mystics this year basically filled that hole with Kiki Iriafen. So,
Iriafen is offensively superior, and she's the best of both worlds, because I'm not a fashion show guy, but if you're trying to push your line and you're a marketeer, Reese is like Dennis Rodman to me. She does one thing exceptionally well, and she's got flair, and I love her flair. I ain't mad at none of that. But Kiki scores and rebounds. She does better.
She don't miss the shot and then rebound it and then put it back in. She just makes it the first time, and still gets a double every night.
She is just magnificent to watch. And so me and Elle went through this at the time. And with what I said with Linnell, from a selling tickets, promoting in that, great. But I like Leah Boston. And now she's improved her. I was always saying about her, she's too good not to be better offensively.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's an athlete. And now I love her game. I'm just saying, for the program and development like here, I think it's great, especially to push her line. Chicago, big city, do your line. I like this. But Iriafen, oh my God. I just love the fact that I can see the Mystics' progress. Ain't nobody running around talking about tanking to get the top pick. They're getting people better that are there and trying to win in the moment. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and they've done a pretty good job. They've done a pretty good job sitting around 500 too. You could be the Dallas Wings right now, and they have shown a lot of fight. It's been an impressive season for the Mystics so far.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's something that you can look at, kind of somewhat believe into, and I like it. I think it's it's immeasurable. I can look at it and I can see progress, not just lip service, but I watch it when they play. It's just like when you open up the show today, talking about Indiana winning without Caitlin Clark. That's unbelievable.
It's an impressive win.
That is unbelievable. They didn't sit around waiting. They getting people to play better. They made a couple of changes and trying to win. I might be wrong about this. It may be proven somewhere down the line, but I just don't think it's so easy when you just make it about winning.
Mm-hmm.
Then nobody's feelings get hurt. Are we getting better? Does it help us win games? Either you're in or you're out. But I don't give a crap about your personal life or whatever you do. It ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm paying you, but paying you to tank. You haven't answered my question today either, so apparently I'm on to something. Otherwise, you'd have been more definitive in your response. And you're not even sure you're going to get this draft pick. So you asking me, do I trust the lottery? Are you actually asking me, do I think Dallas deserved this phenom flag more than Utah or Washington did?
Of course not. Come
on, Slim. I know I may sound like I'm off my rocker every once in a while, but I put half of everything I own, I would put up on that. I do not believe that was a fair shake. You will never convince me otherwise. Can I be mad at the league for protecting the league's own interests? You know, the NBA is really big on having the face of a league.
And that face of the league being, and the face of that league being in New York, Boston, LA, you know, the bigger markets for them.
How about the face of the league? You know what is so beautiful about when the face was Mike? Or with Bray? They won.
Mm-hmm.
The face of the league should be the winners.
Yep.
The champion.
Agreed.
What the hell are we talking about? I like the kid in Minnesota too. He's fun.
Ant's great. I love watching him.
Ant, they call him Ant, yeah. Ant-Man. He's fun. He home watch it. That ain't my hero. All my heroes ended up in the finals. They may not have won it, but they were all in the finals. I don't know a hero. I don't know a guy that's not in the Super Bowl, not in the NBA championship, NHL, Stanley Cup, that considers himself the face of something. How the hell are you going to be the face of something and you're not in the big game? You don't win it all. You tell me. And I haven't had a chance to share this with you because we haven't been together in a minute since you got called up. But that Stanley Cup, that cup, it's the baddest trophy. It's the baddest symbol in all of sports. The way they handle that, to me, is second to none. And you know what? If I was some of these other leagues, I wouldn't be too big to say, you know what? I was wrong. Stanley Cup. Getting to keep the cup a whole day, each player, and nobody else thought of that was a great idea. It's awesome. It's awesome. I mean, I just think the whole thing about it is good. So we're 3:34. We want to take a break and come back and get back on the lines.
Let's hit these calls and then we'll hit that break.
We got a couple of legends that have just stepped up to the plate. We'll start off with the good Dr. Sabah on Tobacco Road. How are you?
Oh, Doc, you're a perfect lunch break for me, buddy. Nice hearing your voice. You were chamming in about the college. Well, first of all, about the game, since you mentioned the Indiana Fear. That was so enjoyable last night. I really becoming a big fan of McDonald and Kelsey Mitchell.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Always was a fan
Kelsey
of
Mitchell's a beast.
Yeah, always was a fan of to me, I think Kelsey Mitchell is like the Klay Thompson to Caitlin Clark being the Steph Curry when they're both on.
And your defense too. She's also, she don't look like she'd be a thug, but she goes defensively. Mm-hmm. Love her effort.
They moved their feet. Her and McDonald, like Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hall. So and Aaliyah, I know Aaliyah back from the day when we were trying out that Olympic team together. Me and her mom, we would go back and forth to the hotel together. But anyway, so I'm a big fan of that team. I'm excited. But I want to talk about the college. You said that college sports. I'm so out. I'm so out on the college sports. These guys making millions and millions of dollars, and they still can't afford their tuition. And I'm still paying, $80,000 a year to send my kids to school. And yet, and just like these owners out here all want all these stadiums and stuff, and they keep saying it helps the economy. It doesn't help anybody but themselves. Just like all the publicity that the school gets, all our tuition rates still go up. So why is it we keep dishing out money to make the pizza and everybody else eats it? I don't understand that. So I'm getting really out.
Well, the economic impact of a stadium in a city, it's about is big.
To who?
What are they getting right now
give the tax
in the ruin?
Back. They never give the money back. They never give it back, Doc. Where's the money? It always goes to something special interest group or to their brand new office or to their vacation.
Well, then that's in the leaders. Well, that's not their problem. The problem is the people in charge of the jurisdictions that they go in. That's their negligence. Yeah. Don't blame me.
Okay, but the point
I'm building a stadium. I'm providing jobs. You can't convince me. It looks like a mortuary there now. What do they generate now off of it? Nothing.
Okay,
you can never tell me nothing beats something as significant as an arena that would allow you to attract Super Bowls. No way in hell I'm ever going to buy into that.
Who's going to make the money off that, Doc? Those people that live there now, guess what's going to happen to their houses? Their tax rate's going to go way up because now the property value went up. They didn't sell anything.
Okay.
They didn't make any more money. They're paying the government more money just to be in that particular area. All right, say some people come, now it's heavily populated. Now what's going to happen when you go down to the convenience store? Now that drink, instead of it being $2, is going to be $3 because all the rents have went up. It doesn't help the community as much as everybody says it does. What they should do is give tax rebates back to the people of the community that supported the tax dollars in the first place to build these arenas. Just like in the colleges, they should give the people who went to school there a reduction in their tuition as these athletic teams make more and more money because all the fans are buying all the stuff, all the fans are watching the TV, all the fans are making them all the money.
That one I could go with.
That's all I'm saying.
That one I'd like to investigate a little more.
Okay.
That one you got me on it. But you're never going to convince me that people who don't have enormous financial influence are going to change a surrounding. Never. People with money are going to continue to make the money. That's the way it is. Our system works that way. Everything, it's a transition. It's transactions. Money. So why in the hell do you think it's going to stop now? It's not going to stop.
Okay, but
it's not going to stop.
They're saying the reason to build a stadium is because we're going to make the city more money. It's going to help all of the residents of the city. No, it doesn't help the residents of the city. It may help new people that move into the city, but the residents there are not going to get any benefit except higher prices. They should get a tax deduction or a rebate on any taxes they paid to help the building be built. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
They should share in the profits. That's all.
Always good to hear your voice.
Yes, it's good to disagree.
All right, good deal, K9. Right. Good deal. Now we went from a voice of reason. Now we're going to introduce a lunatic to the broadcast. Hey, Big Tony, how are you?
What's happening, dog father?
Hey, man, I'm with the Steelers, man. Hey, you know what? Not one person today has mentioned the Steelers or Aaron. Or they've not mentioned any of you guys. You know what? Welcome to being, you had a great run. You my dog, you know that. But now you're about to start the 28, 29 years of hell we just come out of.
Hey, Doc, I'll have you know, Jonnu Smith is going to save their season.
He's good.
Hey, look here, man. First off, they just loading up this year to see what happens because they got all the draft capital for next year to draft him a quarterback. We would never be like y'all, ever. Now, look here, let me tell some of y'all young folks out there, whether y'all know this or not, you might not want a stadium, you might want a new stadium, but you got to realize when these pro teams come into your area, they are personal contractors at that point. They pay taxes to D.C. or Maryland when if Doc went to play in California, that game check, California's taking some money out of that check.
Had to pay that 6 point. It was the highest tax rate going. You're right.
So all these people that don't want these stadiums, you got to remember when these teams come in there and they bring their equipment people and their this people and that people and their whole entourage, they got to pay taxes. When Britney Spears comes or Taylor Swift comes with 200 people. They got to go out to eat. They need hotel rooms. They got to pay taxes, Jack. Don't tell me nothing about no money. Y'all need to go back to school. And here's another thing for you youngins out there. Hey, Doc, I probably got about 700 phone numbers in my phone. You probably got about 2,000. You youngins, back in the day, we would have memorized every last phone number in that thing, but we so lazy now, we can just press the button. But Doc, did you not know over 300 or 400 or 500 phone numbers back in the day?
You know, it's one of the, and I don't know who the hell is producing this interview for you calling in, but you make so much sense today. And you're right. I realize my brain is deteriorating because I remember all the numbers I knew by heart.
Exactly. You don't use your brain like you do. If you didn't remember, if you at the club and you lost that piece of paper, nah, Slim, you ain't got the girl's number no more.
You were
done unless you saw her again the next week or whatever.
That's right.
Here's another thing. Doc. If my kid did do the NIL or whatever, and they made $1 million, he ain't driving no Lamborghini. He don't know how to drive a Lamborghini. That's too much car. Dude, when I was in high school, I had all these youngins that drove Porsches, and every last one of them, they had IROC Zs and the Z28s. Hey, they wrecked them all. You know why? It was too much car, but the parents had the money, but the parents weren't disciplined to say, hey, why don't you take this safe Subaru? It'll get you from A to B, but nah, they had to drive the Porsches and the Ferraris and all that, and they wrecked every last one of them. Y'all take it easy, Doc, and your ratings just went up 1,000%. I need some of that money, baby. Take it easy.
Well, I got to say this. It's the most sensible phone call I've had with him in 30 years. He's been a pain in my behind for 30 years.
Listen, I've produced many a phone call from Big Tony, and he was spitting.
Wasn't he there? He was he was excellent. Make sure to mark that one because I'm going to use that again this weekend.
A blind squirrel finds a nut.
Every once in a while.
No doubt
about it. Wow. We got to go to break on that, man. I'm speechless. I did not know.
It blew you away.
I did not know he had that kind of command of the English language. I am shocked. But shout out to Big Tony. But it's so funny for me to see him go into this. They're going to be like the Pirates.
Ooh.
I know it's hard for you to take that.
Listen,
they're going to end up being like the Pirates.
I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, Doc.
I know. It's good.
I wouldn't wish that on Brian sitting across the table. And he's a Cowboys fan.
No, he's not. What he is that he's starving for attention. And one thing about the Cowboy people, you got to say, if you want to get recognized and you want somebody to focus on you, all you got to do is get that blue hat with your IQ on it or your credit rating, which is a 1-star, and it changes how you feel about yourself. So we'll see.
See, we shall, I guess.
All right, my friend, let's go to break on that one, and we come back, and then I got a few things to say about it because right now, I'm shattered. I cannot believe that was Big Tony. Wow. We'll be back.
All right, last night, the Indiana Fever defeated the Minnesota Lynx to win the WNBA Commissioner's Cup despite missing Caitlin Clark due to a groin injury that has kept her out the past 3 games. And it's been a rough Wimbledon for the Americans. Coco Gauff falls in the opening stages to Ukrainian Diana Yastremska, and Frances Tiafoe falls to Britain's Cameron Norrie. The NHL free agency continues, and some former Caps are coming off the market. Lars Eller signs a 1-year deal in Ottawa. Andrew Mangiapane signs a 2-year deal in Edmonton, and Taylor Radish signs with the New York Rangers. Speaking of the NHL, players will officially be able to enter the 2026 Winter Olympics after the NHL and the IOC have finally reached an agreement. This agreement will also open the door for players to be eligible for the 2030 Winter Olympics. And the Nats, they were rained out last night, so they will take on Detroit in a doubleheader today. Trevor Williams takes the hill for the Nats against Tigers' Tyler Holton. First pitch is at 1:05 and pregame right now on 106.7 The Fan with Charlie and Dave. This update is sponsored by the Team 980 YouTube page. Just open the app, type in the Team 980, hit subscribe. Kevin Sheehan is live from 10 to 1 and Craig Hoffman from 4 to 7. Don't forget to like the stream and turn on notifications to stay up to date on all things DC sports. And that is what's trending.
Welcome back, Doc Walker. Oh, Max. It's been a lot of fun DHing for Coach. We think he had a TED Talk today or was shooting maybe a new commercial. But I do think that he'll be back in saddle tomorrow and full of it'd be interesting to get his take. He is because he loves hoops. And I think he'll agree with the number of things that we said and discussed today. I go back and I don't know, well, you'd be way too young for Cobra. But Dave Parker passed away, like a month or so before the Hall of Fame deal. And that, man, you talking about timing. I always thought Cobra was a heck of a player. That's when the Pirates were really serious and We Are Family. And it was an interesting time, but I just loved his spirit. And I thought he had the coolest nickname of all the nicknames, Cobra. Do you get to see any highlights? I know you've been a little young for that.
Yeah.
But did you do any research on Cobra?
I'm a little young for that, but I'm sure, because usually whenever an old athlete kicks the bucket, usually a lot of people will end up posting like their favorite clips or their favorite highlights of that player. So I'm sure it's going to come tumbling down my timeline in the very short term.
You're like Linnell would have really liked the Cobra. And it's that era, man, that I just really enjoyed them. And that pre-social media, pre-everything, you know how big the We Are Family thing would be right now with social media?
Unbelievable.
I mean, I don't think anybody that went through that period of time would want it any other way because they loved it. We used to our privacy. But like Big Tony, I don't believe it was his idea to talk about the memory and the things that we could remember when my era as opposed to now, because you don't have to. But somebody put him on the right path. It wasn't him. I guarantee you that. But somebody did. So that's a really good example. Like, how many phone numbers do you have memorized?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think mom, dad, brother, grandparents.
Put them on one hand. Put them on two hands.
Ben Standig now, because we call him. I was gonna say we call him so much. I have his number memorized in my head now.
Standig's full time. He's just not in the building all the time. Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think that's 5 is about it. Maybe 6 or 7, because I got a couple friends that I
mean, just it really is. I mean, and I want everybody to know out there, Big Tony did not come up with that. It's not an original idea, but someone shared that with him, and thank goodness he shared it with us. But it makes a lot of sense. Like what's the longest you can go without being around with your phone?
Oh, I can put it away and not really be like too affected by it. Like I could put it away. I could like not have it for an entire day if I really like.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I can disconnect pretty easily.
Okay.
I pride myself on that, but it's given the job that I'm in, I kind of need it every day, so it's kind of an issue.
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm not. Look, I get it. I get it. We had we were really lucky through the Commanders to be able to go down to firehouses over the past month, and we see the television shows that are very popular and very good, but to be in those firehouses, because they're a lot like they have camaraderie. It's teamwork.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're living with them too.
You're living, cooking, sleeping, and at a moment's notice, you've got to bounce, and go try to save a life. And I just thought we were so fortunate, and I thank the Commanders brass for allowing that and being able to break bread and to understand theirs is the closest, Now there's dangers. Playing ball, you can break your neck playing ball. So a lot of it's similar. But I just enjoyed that, and I wish that opportunity was open for law enforcement as well, or other areas that affect the community, because sports affects communities. There's interaction between that, and I just think that there's a fit. There's something there that is hopefully we'll be able to get to. Whether or not you cheering for the team or not is not the reason, but the reason is that in the spirit of it, of what we are and how lucky we are to be able to do this. You realize that, Max, we're working right now, right?
It's crazy, isn't it?
You realize this is a job.
Yeah, I get paid to do this.
Yeah. Well, I donate all mine back to science, but
of course.
My point is that, and that's the beauty about this, and it comes in all shapes and forms and styles, and you can do whatever you want to do. And it's good. And that's why it's a beautiful thing. But hopefully you learn more and know more now than you did at 10 o'clock.
Always. I always learn something when I do a show with you.
Well, I just learn something every time I listen to you, listen to Kevin, listen to John. Everybody on our air I learned something from. And that's it. Oh, and Rooster was in New York talking Mets baseball. I have a source.
I know he likes to do that.
Well, he doesn't like to identify himself as a New Yorker.
No, he likes to shy away from it. But that's why I like having AMAC as his producer, because
AMAC.
He brings the New Yorker out of him.
Exactly. AMAC too. Giants. I can't wait for week 1 in AMAC.
Oh, I can't. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good. The entire month of August is gonna be it's gonna be a war between us both.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. And then of course with Big L at WWE, I mean, really, it's a treat. It's a treat. It's the gift that just keeps on giving.
It's true.
So it's a blast, man. Well, I'm his stunt man. So whenever the coach has got to make a move, hopefully, you know what I mean, the manager will call the bullpen.
Of course.
And, I hope to come in and cut the lights out.
We'll cut the lights. We'll play some, we'll get that Hypnotize going, and we'll get you on the walkout song.
It's been a blast, my brother. It's all good. Hope all of you have a fantastic day. Slow down on the highway.
Please do.
Yeah, and keep it all tied right here. Team 980.